Good evening. Welcome to the Big Story. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Gretchen Ho. And I'm Shawn Yao.
Tonight's big stories. Former President Rodrigo Duterte kept everyone guessing today as to whether or not he's running for senator in 2025 after all. Turns out he's not. But that also means an old family rivalry in Davao has been rekindled.
Well, meanwhile, it takes one to know one. A self-confessed spy shows proof that Alice Guo is a secret agent of China. He also says her campaign for Banban mayor was funded by the Chinese state security.
And ending weeks of speculation, TV host Willie Revillame has thrown his hat into the senatorial ring. We'll be finding out why he wants to be a politician when he joins us live here later on.
And just like that, we've come to the end of the filing period for next year's elections. Despite the whisperings, former President Rodrigo Duterte did not withdraw his candidacy for Davao City Mayor today.
Well, no one, as far as we know, also filed a certificate of candidacy on his behalf for senator. So Duterte is staying put as a mayoral candidate of Davao City.
And that means that Digong will be up against former cabinet member or his former cabinet member Carlo Nograles, whose family has a long history with the Dutertes. Ria Fernandez has tonight's big story.
It's like the 1990s all over again for the Duterte and Nograles families of Davao City. An old political rivalry is rekindled as Carlo Nograles, former cabinet secretary to then-President Rodrigo Duterte, challenges his ex-boss for Davao mayorship. Nograles resigned just yesterday as Civil Service Commission chief after a 2-year stint, even though he still had 5 years on the clock. After he filed his COC, Nograles said he wants to give the people of Davao a choice.
This is for the people of Davao. This is for the people to have a choice. This is for the people to have a chance. Makapili man lang sila.
Nograles is running alongside 1st District Councilor Bernie Alag, who's going head-to-head with Digong's vice mayor candidate and son Baste Duterte. Carlos' sister, PBA Party List Representative Margarita Migs Nograles will also be challenging another Duterte. This time, Davao City 1st District re-electionist Congressman Paulo Orpulong. Is she ready for this battle?
Personally, ako handa na po ako dito after one term as PBA Party List Representative. Nag-ikot-ikot naman ako, nakita nyo naman, and I'm ready to take on this new role.
On the same day, the Nograles siblings announced their run, came news that Digong Duterte is quitting the mayoralty race and is instead running for senator. The rumor circulated for several hours on the last day of COC filing.
Kasi marami ng balita na nakakarating sa akin na nag-withdraw siya bilang kandidato para mayor.
Even former Presidential Chief Legal Counsel Sal Panelo's denial of the report did not kill the story at once.
Hindi siya magpapile in the first place. He will remain as candidate for mayorship sa Davao.
And when 5 p.m. came and went on Tuesday without the Duterte patriarch withdrawing his COC for mayor or submitting his candidacy for senator, that's the only time it became clear he really is just running for mayor of Davao. But former Senator Laila de Lima, for one, was not amused.
Napaka-typical of him, no? Ganyan talaga ang style niya. Nang lilito, nang gugulo, nang loloko. Ano ba talaga? Ano ba talaga ang pakay niya?
After today, substitutions due to a candidate withdrawing will not be allowed. The only acceptable grounds will be if a candidate were to die or be disqualified, in which case the substitute must share the same family name or belong to the same party. For News 5, Ria Fernandez, We Are One News.
Okay, so no Duterte in Senate next year, but some other names that came forward today may surprise you. For one thing, embattled pastor Apollo Kibuloy filed his COC for senator through his legal counsel today. That's even though he is facing dozens of criminal charges, both here and the United States, and is in fact detained at the moment. Kibuloy's legal counsel said his priority is pushing for religious freedom.
Ang priority po niya, number one, is yung religious freedom. Naniwala po si Pastor Apollo Kibuloy that religious freedom is inviolable. It means kailangan ang government po natin should secure the holy grounds against state forces.
It's also going to be a Senate bid for Sagip Party List Representative Rodante Marcoleta, a staunch ally of the Dutertes. He was one of the few voices who stood up for Vice President Sara Duterte during the contentious OVP budget hearings. If he wins, Marcoleta says he will focus on congressional oversight.
First of all, dahil po sa aking pagnanais na makapaglingkod sa mataas na level ng ating pamahalaan, ay napilitan po ako na mag-file ng COC kagaya ng ginagawa ko sa araw na ito.
Peter Advincula, also known or better known as Bicoy, is also aiming for a seat in the Senate. He was the whistleblower who previously accused the Dutertes of involvement in illegal drugs. Later on, a Manila court found him guilty of perjury.
Other big names who showed up to the Manila Hotel Tent City today include former Senator Kiko Pangilinan, accompanied by his wife Sharon Cuneta. Pangilinan said he had always meant to return to the Senate, but ran for the vice presidency in 2022 on the request of former Vice President Leni Robredo. He is known for his advocacy in agriculture and says he will continue to push for lower food prices if he wins.
Pero nung hiniling sa atin ni Vice President Leni ang suporta, sinantabi natin yung sarili nating ambisyon at sinuportahan siya. At dahil ito ang original plan ko at lalo na ngayon, ang pinakadaing ng taong bayan ay ang taas ng presyo ng pagkain, ang taas ng presyo ng bilihin. Kayang pababain ang presyo ng bigas pero kinakailangang malawakang reforma sa hanay ng agrikultura at pangingisda. Kasama na dyan yung doblehin o triplehin ang pondo ng paggagasta sa gobyerno sa agrikultura. Kailangan correct spending, hindi yung corrupt spending.
Former Marcos Executive Secretary Vic Rodriguez is also gunning for the Senate as an independent candidate. Rodriguez said he has secured the endorsement of former President Rodrigo Duterte, claiming that he will be the voice against corruption in government. And then there's also Leandro Leviste, son of incumbent Senator Lauren Legarda, who joined the congressional race today. He filed a COC for representative of Batangas' 1st District, saying that there was a signature campaign urging him to do so. This marks the 31-year-old's first foray into politics. He is otherwise known as the founder of Solar Philippines, a renewable energy firm. Through parent company Countrywide Investment, Leandro is the second largest shareholder in ABS-CBN next to the Lopez family.
At today's Senate hearing on POGO, Senator Risa Ontiveros made good on her promise to us last night that she has a new revelation. Turns out they now have a first-hand account of a witness saying Alice Guo is a Chinese spy. Brian Basa has the story.
It's another Senate hearing full of bombshells. Committee Chair Senator Risa Ontiveros reveals they had interviewed a certain Wang Fugui, a former cellmate of Shi Zhijiang, the self-confessed Chinese spy in the Al Jazeera documentary, who said Alice Guo was also a Chinese spy herself. Wang says he was a good friend of Shi since they were together in prison for more than a year. He was then entrusted by Shi to handle some of his files, where he found Guo's classified documents.
在我出狱后，受他的委托处理一些他解密档案的一些事务，是他给了我部分解密档案的权限，我也只是这些文件中的一个保管者。
In the same interview, Wang was asked how he concluded that Guo is a spy.
并不是什么特殊的，只是正好有一份他的国安背景的资料在里面。 他的情况和佘志良先生有很多相似的。
Wang also divulges how Guo became a spy.
国安招募的外勤特务都会有非常详细的背景资料调查，也有专门的，这也是国安在海外控制外勤的主要方法。比如郭华平的假菲律宾身份，就是这样的秘密和弱点，他只能听从国安的话。佘志良先生的经历也是有相似的。
Wang was also asked by Senator Ontiveros if Alice Guo was planted in the Philippines as a spy when she was still a child, or was only tapped to work for the Chinese government when she first became mayor of Bamban. Wang goes as far as to say that Guo's campaign for mayor was funded by Chinese state security.
郭华平的竞选本身就是中共国安安排的。
Wang was also asked if Philippine offshore gaming operators have something to do with spying operations. Wang insists there's a connection.
这些当然有关联的，这和中国政府旺盛的情报需求有很大的关系。还有一个就是这些和“一带一路”是绝对有关联的，而“一带一路”也是面向全世界庞大的统战和情报战略计划的一部分，包括对外的殖民策略。
Wang names a certain Ma Dongli, who he says is a member of the Chinese Communist Party. This man is allegedly Shi Zhijiang's contact in the Ministry of State Security. Wang thinks that Ma Dongli is also Guo Huaping's handler and linked to Shi Zhijiang. More alarming, based on travel records obtained by Senator Ontiveros, Wang, Ma Dongli, and Shi Zhijiang have all traveled to the Philippines before. Despite Wang's interview, Alice Guo maintains she is not a spy. She also denies knowing Ma Dongli.
Tulungan niyo po ako mag-imbestiga, hindi po ako spy. At para naman po, hindi po ako magmukhang kawawa talaga. Wala po akong handler, hindi po ako spy, hindi ko po siya kilala.
Guo also didn't file her COC for re-election today, contrary to what her lawyers said.
Your Honor, haharapin ko po muna yung mga accusations po sa akin. Ninisin ko po muna yung sarili ko po. At para maging fair din po para sa mga constituents ko po na minamahal ko po.
Very good.
For News 5, I'm Brian Basa, and we are One News.
There's another big name that was dropped. Well, I shouldn't say dropped because she showed up to the hearing today. Mary Ann Maslog.
What name are we going to be using
Correct.
to refer to her?
Because
right?
apparently she also goes by Jessica
Francisco.
So she wouldn't admit her identity, and she's key to this because there was a portion during the very long hearing wherein she admitted that she was involved in the capture of Alice Guo in Indonesia.
Yes, but there were some points of contention as to the narration of her story. One, she said that the PNP intelligence group tapped her, but later on, they went on a Zoom call with General Macapas, who allegedly was the one who called her up to get her services to help mediate the surrender.
Parang
siya daw ang nag-volunteer.
Yes, pero yung totoo pala is, according to General Macapas, daw, ay siya yung nag-volunteer. Again, it's he said, she said.
But also, there's a very big question, and I think the senators were laughing about this. There's a very big question there is, how could General Macapas let this person be so close to the intelligence gathering process of the hunt for Alice Guo, right? Because she had access. This Maslog was able to visit Guo in detention twice
They
and talk to her.
Sabi niya,
How does she get all that
nag-mediate
access?
siya for the surrender of Alice Guo.
Yeah, but who is she?
Sabi ni General, because she had access to attorney Stephen David.
Yes.
So tinatanong ng mga senators,
Why not just
pinagkatiwalaan
go?
mo based on that? Because apart from that, she also has something, I guess, controversial
in her past.
Related to her identity. She was involved, apparently, Mary Ann Maslog was involved in a textbook, 24 million textbook scam
back in 1998.
Na sinasabi nila ay namatay daw.
She faked her death in 2019.
Tapos biglang nandito siya ulit. So
and the FBI was able to match the fingerprints.
So again, someone with that history, how do they get into the intelligence gathering process of the police, of the CIDG?
But you know what really shocked me was the reaction of Senator Bato de la Rosa to this whole thing. He was so mad, saying that Jessica Francisco or Mary Ann Maslog was sent there to have Alice Guo sign an affidavit.
Pinning him down.
No. Signing an affidavit, linking several, like the former president, Bongo, him, to the Pogo business, the whole Pogo business.
Yes, they were supposed to, that's his intelligence, that's the role that Maslog serves.
And of course, late in the game plot twist, right? We were expecting, as Senator Risa Ontiveros told us just last night, she's expecting this to wrap up, and yet another bombshell. So
I don't know, we're going to have to keep, it looks like they're going to have to hold a couple more, right? Because this was left on a cliffhanger.
Okay, speaking of cliffhangers, we're going to have to leave it there. We're going to be pausing for a quick break, but right after that, Re-electionists, newbies, families swapping places. This year's COC filing season has brought out a very diverse cast of characters. We'll discuss all that with political strategist Alan Herman when the big story returns. Stay with us.
Welcome back. You are still watching a big story here in One News. Well, we told you it was going to be an eventful COC filing season, and it has certainly delivered on the surprises and the drama. Old names, new faces, allies turned rivals, families facing off. The last 8 days have brought all that and more, so let's try to make sense of things. We have with us tonight political strategist Alan Herman. Alan, thanks so much for coming all the way here.
Hi, the pleasure's mine. Pleasure and a privilege to be here. To our viewers, as you see, Miss Gretchen Ho has become suddenly very unattractive. I took her place.
We can't even tell the difference.
Right?
No,
a fungus has grown on your couch.
I can't guess what your biases are because you were wearing black.
There you go.
Very
Right?
intelligent.
Yeah.
Color naman is very obvious.
I know you're from Ateneo.
Too quick from the Ateneo. Excuse me.
The Ateneo.
The Ateneo.
Oh, so you're
Excuse
part of that
me,
population.
the Ateneo.
Yes, the Arneo,
No other
yes.
school has the before its name.
the,
Right?
yes.
Okay, listen, lots to talk about. Let's begin with the fact that there are a lot of families running.
Oh, yeah.
Next year, we're talking about mothers and daughters, fathers and sons, in-laws, husbands and wives, grandchildren and grandparents.
The in-laws are particularly
this
entertaining.
entire clans and people's family members swapping places. Is this the norm? Has this always been like this, or this election is going to see the most number of dynastic families?
Well, there's a wonderful phrase for that. You all know, I'm sure, what an orca is. An orca, the shark, right? So that's actually ORCA, right? In terms of candidates, it's really that by number. So it's the old familiars, the O, and then the R is the relatives, the C are the celebrities, and the A are the alternatives. So the most that will come back in any given election are the O's.
So there's always going to be orcas in every election.
And then the relatives are next, and then the celebrities, and then the alternatives.
Gusto niyo yung mnemonic.
O is what?
That is such poor penmanship.
O is what?
Yes.
O is the oldies.
Old familiars,
Old
yes.
familiars, I see. So in all your years of political consulting,
decades.
I mean, in all your decades of that, this doesn't surprise you. This is not the most number of political dynasties you've seen.
Absolutely not. It doesn't surprise me. Taken at face value, I'm actually the level of surprise for me now comes at the. Maybe hubris is a good word. See, I'm able to use big words on this program. I'm usually speaking in straight Filipino, or they're giving me grief for using my Arneo English. But it's the hubris that surprises me for this election because, like you said, previously we have this thing called order of attribute preferences in our discipline. It's almost psychographics, wherein when you look at the social engineering data, voters don't. Especially in the local level, they will not vote for families on the same ticket. In previous elections, that was actually pronounced. So if it's a sister and a sister, a mother and a daughter running for a local elective position at the same time in the same ticket, they usually don't win, or one of them doesn't make it. But these elections, wow, the dam has burst. We've got entire clans running, as Ms. Shawn said.
So what you're saying, Alan, let me just interject, is that okay, dynastic politics is nothing new, but this year's filing
the level
is extra.
Yes,
extra.
The concentration of these so-called fat dynasties or these dynastic
What do you think contributed to that? Bakit mas malakas ang loob nila ngayon?
Okay. Yes, I was shocked at the level. I think what contributed to that, if I'm being very honest, is number one, it's the power dynamic happening at the very top, which is the Marcoses versus the Dutertes fighting it out. So that contributed greatly, I believe, to these allies seeing that one political family or one political faction is dominating, so to speak. So they have tended to extend into this political base, thinking that, sige, let's just have our relatives run. Another reason is because also election success. if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They'll see what they can, they test limits. Politicians will test limits.
To see what they could get
to
away
see what
with.
they can get away with, so to speak. Your words, not mine. And if they see that, hey, the goalpost just keeps on moving and moving and moving, then maybe soon. I mean, we have the superstar running, Nora Honor. We have the star for all seasons and our whole family running.
So is this a
And we have
litmus
the
test
megastar.
for 2028, the presidential, the big one?
Well, the big one, the midterm elections are always very tricky in the sense that it's a referendum. You've heard it, ad infinitum, ad nauseum. A referendum on the current administration. But I think this particular midterms is very, very tricky because the admin has to show that they are still in control. You don't want the lame duckery to happen. See, I've just invented a word on national television.
It seems the Dutertes are scrambling to find their slate of allies.
Right.
Like for example, kanina sinabi ni Marcoleta na pilitan siya tumakbo. Kasama na dyan siyempre si Philip Salvador. Ang makakasama natin ngayon, tatanong natin mamaya, si Willie Revillame. Vic Rodriguez is also under the Duterte slate. So
Vic
parang
Rodriguez,
bago tong mga mukha na ito. No? What's happening here?
Well, for the Dutertes, it's a matter of survival. Obviously, they need to populate the legislative branch. In fact, I was surprised. I really thought that former PRRD would actually
go for Senate.
Go for Senate because that's where they need the power base to be. Because the sword of Damocles hanging over their leader, their current leader, Vice President Inday Sara, is the threat of impeachment. So that's the first thing they need to head off. In fact, see, it's all past and done. The water is under the bridge. But honestly, if I were to advise the Dutertes, I would have actually made Sara run for senator.
Okay, I have a question, Ellen. They only fielded 3 senatoriables under PDP Laban. Now, that doesn't mean no independent candidate can also fight for the Dutertes or represent them. But were you shocked that they only fielded 3 senatoriables?
Well, 3 senatoriables under PDP Laban. Not shocking at all because PDP Laban, even during the heyday of the Duterte presidency, had, I think, only 2 members in the lower house and only 1 in the Senate. That was during the might, the Duterte juggernaut. So as a party, no, I'm not shocked. And as he said correctly, Ms. Shawn, it doesn't mean that, it doesn't draw party lines. You can still be a rabid
here in the Philippines, we don't draw any party lines.
Pero teka, bakit Sara for Senate?
Ako, I would have. I think that would have been a master stroke. See, I'm not giving free advice. This is
your chance to sell yourself to potential clients.
In me, diba? But imagine if VP Sara would have run for the Senate. Constitutionally, she's allowed. Suddenly, the threat of impeachment is no longer there. You can't impeach her. She's no longer part of the executive. And then suddenly, all of these congressmen that are, throwing brickbats at her and quote-unquote bullying her, suddenly, she's in the upper house saying, sige, magpasa kayo ng bill. I'm now here in the upper house with my pals.
Sorry, I'm not familiar, but what makes that constitutionally permissible?
Because if you're an elective official, you can run for any
another
position.
elective.
In the same way VP Lenny ran for president, Isko was mayor and he ran for president.
So if I were to flip around what you said earlier, do you then think former President Digong Duterte made a bad decision running for mayor? Because he could have left that to his son still.
Sure.
Right?
In fact, I mean, if you're just moving the chessboard pieces, agnostically, you would say, maybe it's an ill-advised move. I would have definitely, because the power base in Davao will always be there. He could have represented himself by proxy through any of his kids. I don't think it would have taken away that much.
Now it looks like they're very much threatened in Davao.
Right. Well, by the Nograleses. Another story again.
But was it smart to choose Carlo over Migs to run for mayor in Davao?
Frankly, it was. From what I knew, it was always, Cabsec Carlos. He was actually the cabinet secretary of Duterte, right? So, Attorney Migs is, good evening, Attorney Migs, is an acquired taste. And she probably would do better in Congress. I think she's running for district now.
Okay, wait. I don't want to leave the Dutertes just yet. Vice President Sara Duterte, recently she's had she's kind of changing her approach, her attack, right?
Right.
She's doing press cons now.
Yes.
Entertaining questions from the media. She's never done that before. Correct me if I'm wrong. Can we sign off the Dutertes now? Because they always have some tricks, some surprises up their sleeve. And although Digong did not file
no more
for
substitutions.
Senate, no more substitutions,
Sure,
but
yeah.
it doesn't mean she's out of cards, right? What do you think? What's your read?
You know, you have to think of the Duterte not as individuals, but as a brand. And the data will show, I mean, everybody's got an opinion, but at the end of the day, you have to slot back into the pure hard cold data. The pure hard cold data shows that yes, she has taken a decline. Yes, her numbers have dipped, but she's still number one. People forget this. They're focusing on the slip. But the latest data shows, at least from the reputable survey firms, that she's still
Is there still advantage for her somewhere there?
You know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, Miss Shawn, right? They've thrown everything but the kitchen sink at her. I mean, the poodle and the bathwater and the baby, they've thrown everything at her, diba? Hit her with a battering ram, and boy.
The other way to look at the Davao scenario, the showdown in Davao,
Interesting showdown.
Yeah, is that now it's Carlo Nograles who has an uphill climb, right?
Yes.
Because who's not going to vote for Digong down in Davao? Right?
Again, this is almost muscle memory for them to shade the Duterte name.
Correct. So now, if I were him, why would I still be in the race, right? There's many other positions he could have gone for.
Nakapagod na.
Thank you for painting me right into a tricky corner. Huh?
I have a theory, and I don't know how sound it is. But is it that he miscalculated and he thought Digong would be running for Senate? Therefore, if he were running up against Baste, he would have a bigger chance. Was this the calculation he made, you think?
Well, I won't speak on the Nograles side first. I'll take it from the Duterte side. I think this whole drama of, he has withdrawn, he's going to run for the Senate. I think that whole thing was trying, slips, feints, and fakes to draw out who's going to run on the Nograles side.
Okay.
Very, very typical, very, very familiar behavior for the Dutertes. But honestly, if you're looking at it from the point of view of Cabsec Carlo, I think whether you're running against a Baste or a PRRD, I think the climb would be the same.
So you're saying he's running against the brand?
He's running against the brand. Your network mate Tulfo, for example. If you're running against any Tulfo, you're not running against that Tulfo, you're running against the Tulfos.
Before we leave Davao, I just wanted to ask your thoughts on the move of Pastor Apollo Kibuloy to run for senator. What is he trying to achieve here? Get some sympathy, probably to get out of his dilemma?
Well, first, I think he's trying to achieve history. We are the only country in the world that had the Son of God run for Senate. I mean, wow. I mean, we've had celebrities, politicians, soldiers, policemen, the Son of God running for the Senate. I'll get a load of that.
Owner of the universe.
Right, owner of the universe. Stop, I win. But levity aside, he doesn't have anything to lose, number one. He's already where he is. And he's probably banking on that parliamentary immunity. I mean, who knows, right?
One last question. Do you think the Duterte smoke and mirrors, what with the fake report, supposedly that he's going to feel... Do you think it drew out other candidates as well that filed today, last day?
No, I would categorically say no.
That was it.
That trick, if you want to call it that,
Slip
smoke and
feint,
mirrors,
strategy.
slip feint. You know, it's a little bit. It's getting a little
it's dated.
old. Yeah, it's a bit dated. Pleated pants. So I'm not sure if it. And he played it too late. If that was really the case.
Was there anybody who you were thinking would file but didn't?
Again, I honestly thought VP Sara would file for Senate. I
Just
thought
that.
We don't even know if that was a consideration. There was no rumors around it at all.
No. I mean, in my head, I was thinking, if the math is mathing.
But you know what? She still could have gotten impeached in the Senate or in Congress. The numbers are against her.
But why would you impeach a member of the legislature?
Betrayal of public trust is an umbrella
It's going to set a
brand.
precedent to all the other senators.
Yeah.
Right, but if she's already in the Senate, then she's got her pals, and the numbers won't work.
But she still...
She does have the numbers.
But
It
she
will
could
die
still,
at the Senate, right?
theoretically, could get impeached.
Well, you know what? If she were in the Senate, she'd have to inhibit anyway. So that's one thing.
Maybe
right?
you failed to throw your idea out there
Early enough.
for people to debate about it. So we should have you more often on the show.
Right, except, Regina,
I know I made a boo-boo, but just very quickly, one last thing. What do we make
Top
of
Hat and Kane?
One last thing, very very quickly, 30 seconds. What do you make of all these candidates running under the party list system. We have names like Laida de
Thank you.
Lima,
I'm so happy you brought this up.
Chel Diokno, who were expected to run for the upper chamber, but then last minute, not so much last minute,
Right.
but decided in the end, we're going to run for the party list
I'm
system.
so
What is going on there?
I'm so very happy you brought this up because, the problem with party list is people get tempted by the math. They think all I need to be a congressman in this country is to get 300,000 votes.
Yeah.
And I get one seat. Maybe double that, a little over 620, I get 2 seats. So if I have enough followers on social media, if I have enough pals, if I have a captive audience, I'm going to go and become a
So the bar is
party list
lower.
congressman, right? Because they're thinking of 300,000 people.
But the reality is,
There's 180 party lists competing for one vote. And 70% of a party list vote comes from machinery or
Yes.
negotiated votes,
Yeah.
not retail votes.
Yes.
You won't get it. But then again, for every Mocha Uson who had 5.8 million followers, rabid followers, and only got 115,000 votes, there's a guy like Boni Bosita who has 3.3 million followers and is now a congressman with 991.
That's a very good point. We're going to have to
Right.
leave that there for now, but
Please
we will
do
have
come
you
back.
back on to talk about the local races,
if I'm wanted,
the
right?
political races this
Invite
time.
myself.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us
It's a
tonight.
pleasure's mine.
Campaign
Thank you.
strategist Alan Herman. I was going to say Alan German, but
Right.
up next, he was the last to file his candidacy for the Senate today. We will be speaking with Willie Revillame about his decision to run when the big story returns.
Welcome back. You are still watching The Big Story here on One News.
For the first time, TV and game show host Willie Revillame is taking a shot at an elective post. He filed his candidacy for senator a few hours ago on literally the last few minutes of COC filing. In the past, Revillame has repeatedly turned down offers to pursue a political career, including a spot in former President Rodrigo Duterte's 2022 senatorial slate. He did endorse Tutok to Win party list led by Sam Versosa, now running for Manila Mayor. Revillame is now host of Will to Win, which started airing on TV5 just 4 months ago. So why is he running for senator? Let's ask straight to the man and our fellow kapatid, Willie Revillame. Welcome to The Big Story.
Pwede bang mag-request? Pero puro Tagalog muna tayo.
Pwede, walang Tagalog po tayo.
Sir Ramar, puro para maintindihan tayo ng mga kababayan natin.
Oo, tama po yan.
Diba? Kailangan maintindihan ng Pilipino. Una, dapat ang ginasya dito si Trump. We are all Filipinos here, okay? Ayoko mag-Tagalog, never. Ay, mag-English, okay. But anyway, magandang gabi sa inyo lahat. Medyo, I'm feeling ko kasi napaka-intellectual yung tatlo eh.
Hindi naman.
Di ba?
Hindi, kailangan lang kami mag-English kasi
It's an English news.
Binabasa nyo pala yan, no? Ako kasi hindi ako nagbabasa sa show.
Pero wag po kayo maglala yung questions namin, wala dyan sa process.
we don't
Hindi, unang-una.
pay attention to that.
Walang love life, pa. Nagtatanong ko, puro ka love life eh.
Gusto ko lang po itanong, no?
Huwag mo akong pinopo.
Para na rin sa mga kasama ko, doon sa seryosong usapan na interview natin sa TV5. A few months ago, tinanong namin kayo kung kayo ba itatakbo for politics. Ang sabi ninyo sa amin, we asked you twice, sabi nyo, hindi. No politics, nasa kontrata nyo yun with TV5 for 3 years, you will not run. Ano po nangyari?
Paalam mo kay MVP. You have my support. Go. Kaya, yun lang yun.
But what changed your mind? Because naalala ko po sinabi nyo nung panahon na yon na, naku, magulo sa politika, nag-aaway-aaway mga tao, ayaw nyo makigulo doon, pwede na kayo dito kasi nakakatulong kayo sa programa ninyo, sa araw-araw na trabaho ninyo. Bakit po
kasi
sa
dun
politika?
sa studio ng Will to Win, it's only about 600 people. Every day. So natutulungan mo, hindi mo lahat natutulungan yung 600 na yun. So, yung budget mo sa tulong, limited. And then, nung nakita ko yung awayan ng awayan sa Congress, awayan ng awayan sa Senado, sabi ko, kawawa ang mga Pilipino. Ito yung mga taong binoto, ito yung mga taong pinagkakatiwalaan. Pero nakakalimutan yung mga kawawang kababayan natin. So I thought, baka makatulong ako, kahit papano, at siguro makikipag-away ako sa Senado kahit kanino para sa mahirap.
Kailan niyo po napagdesisyonan with finality na, o sige, game na nga? Kasi buzzer beater po kayo dun sa
Gusto mo malaman
5 p.m.
yung
totoo, syempre.
You know the truth?
Yes.
Kanina lang. Hanggang nandun ako sa may Rizal Hotel, I'll be honest, napaiyak pa ako. Talagang paurong na ako eh. Pero may mga kumusap sa akin, siyempre, ito na yung chance. Kala ko ba gusto mong tumulong sa mahirap? Half-hearted pa rin ako eh.
So, Will, walang isang tao na nag-udyok sa'yo na, uy, sige na.
Marami akong mga nakakausap. In fact, ayoko lang banggitin yung mga pangalan. Marami mga...
Tsaka this is not the first time na, di ba, nabalitaan na posible daw, na may kumausap sa'yo. Naamin nyo na rin before eh. So, kumbaga, hindi ito first time. Pero, ang nakakagulat eh, first time nyo talagang nag-file.
Yeah, kasi ito siguro yung time para mag-file. Kasi nga, nalulungkot nga ako pag napapanood namin yung nag-aaway. Kasi during the campaign, ang babait nila, nagmamahalan, nagkakaisa.
Pero hindi po ba parte talaga ng politika yun? Kailangan talaga magdebate, magbalitaktakan.
Hindi, yung break-up?
Excuse me?
Yung sabi mo, nagbabangayan, nag-aaway. Ang tinutukoy mo ba yung
kailangan
break-up?
ba ipakita sa TV yung nagbabangayan? Pwede naman siguro, kaya meron sila executive session, di ba? Kailangan ba natin ipakita sa mahirap? Ang hirap na lang buhay na mahirap. Ang siyempre makikita mo, magulo. Paano mo tutulungan yung mahirap na maging maayos ang kanilang buhay?
But well, sabi nga ni Vic Soto, you can help people without being a politician, right? Without holding public office. Because as shown nyo, you're already helping people, right? So, ang tanong doon at the heart of it is ano po yung motivation mo apart from wanting to help? Because all of these people in office right now, nung nagka-campaign sila, yun din naman sinabi nila eh, na you want to help the masses, make food prices more affordable, etc., etc. Pero ending, nag-aaway nga, like you said. So, for you, ano talaga yung main motivation mo? What's in it for you?
It's about poverty eh. Pagkikahirapan. Kasi 21 years na ako nagde-daily show eh. From ABS-CBN na Wawawi. From TV5 na Wheeling Wheeling. Di ba? Will Time, Big Time. Nag-GMA ako ng 7 years na Wawawin. I'm back here. So lahat ng binubulong sa akin na mahirap, gamot. Pang-paaral ng anak ko. Pampa-opera ng asawa ko nakahiga. It's more about yung kabuhayan. Kung makakapanood tayo ng puro away sa Senado at sa Congress, tapos ito mga kawawang nilalang na to, na hindi na natin iniisip eh. Personal na eh. It's about personal thing. Pag nag-aaway kayo eh. So, paano itong mga taon to? Yung bang pag-aaway nyo, natutulungan ba itong mga to? Ilang presidente na dumaan? Ilang senador na dumaan? Ilang congressman at congresswoman na dumaan? Na bago ba ang buhay na mahirap?
Do you realize though that mas makakatulong ka as a private citizen because once you're in Senate or Congress, voting system yan eh.
Yes.
Sometimes you may want to push forward certain bills, certain laws, pero mahirap kasi...
Mas malaki ang pera mo sa gobyerno. Mas malaki ang budget mo.
Pero
mas marami.
consensus...
Imagine mo, you have about 110 million Filipinos. Ang natutulungan ko lang everyday is about 600. Hindi pa lahat. You know, dito mas malawak, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Sabihin, pag nabigyan ka ng chance, anong bill ang gusto mong gawin? Yung bill na yan, yung dapat, kamukha yung gusto ko yung sa senior citizen bill, no? 20%. Gusto ko mag-add, if ever na mabibigyan ng chance, gusto ko mag-add another 10%. Sa mahal ng bilihin, every year tumataas ang bayad ng gamot, and then yung mga pag-aaral ng bata. Ang purpose ko dito, makatulong, makabigay ng magandang buhay sa mga Pilipino.
Yung 30% na nabanggit nyo, saan nyo nakuha yung figure na yun?
Kasi you have 20% now eh. So pwede ko mong dagdagan.
Pero hindi po ba mahihirapan naman yung nagnenegosyo? Kasi baka hindi nila kayanin.
Magko-complain sa'yo yung mga negosyante mong kaibigan na...
Yung negosyante kumikita, yung mahirap walang kita. Dapat din mo na, kung kumikita ka ng piso, ito wala. Nangungutang to na nangungutang.
Pero marami rin po yung maliliit lang na negosyo na kumbaga yung kinikita nila sapat lang sa pang-araw-araw.
And then, hindi naman lahat yata eh. Ako more of the medicines eh. Sa gamot eh. Yung naiisip ko. Kasi lahat ng mga lumalapit siya, puro gamot, opera. It's more of the... Kasi nga, kaya nga senior eh.
Kuya Will, ito curious talaga ako. Gusto ko malaman yung pananaw ni Willie Revillame. Sa lagay na, current state ng Philippine politics, sa tingin niyo sa inyong assessment, nasa na tayo, ang politika dito sa Pilipinas in general? I think, sa dami na ng mga nagtanong sa'yo, yung wala pa akong naririnig na. Ano yung assessment mo? Like, where do you think the Philippines is going?
Walang unity eh. Kanya-kanya eh. Personal lang interest. if you're a good server, public servant, dapat hindi yung pang-personal lang ang gusto mo. Talagang, how many percent ang mahihirap sa Pilipinas? It's about 97%, 94%. Diba? Ako, mahirap na lang. Baka marami sa akin magalit na nakaposisyon. Ako, I'm paying my taxes very well. Legally. Kung ano man ang billing ko, hindi ako nagnanakaw ng 5. It's all legal. Because isang microphone na lang hawak ko eh. Doon ako binabayaran. Hindi ako involved sa ano man. Hindi ako kumukuha ng bilyon o ano. Pero, hindi ba, kasi pag nakaupo ka na, may pera kang ganun eh. So, saan tayo pupunta? Sa mga leaders natin yan eh. Paano mo i-develop yung bansa mo kung poverty is the problem? Anong future ng mga bata? Yung mga nangangarap na gusto mag-aral? Hindi mo matutulungan paano kinabukasan nila. Anong pangarap nila? Yung mga senior natin ang namamatay dahil walang pambiling gamot. Di ba? Opinion ko yun.
So yun ba ang plataforma na inyong tatakbuhan?
Yun ang gusto ng puso ko.
So education, health, pati sa senior citizens.
Aanuin mo ang buhay mo kung may sakit ka. Aanuin mo ang maganda mong, di ba? Lahat ng ito, kung ikaw weak, wala ka. Paano ka magkakaroon ng magandang buhay?
Paano po ba natin susolusyonan yun? Kasi lahat po tayo, medyo aware naman tayo sa problema. Pero yung solusyon, yun ang mahirap na parte. Meron na ba kayong mga panukalang naisip?
Wala pa kasi, hindi pa ako nananalo. Pag nanalo ako, doon ko naisipin lahat yan. Ang iniisip ko muna,
one step at a time.
One step at a time.
Huwag mo muna akong tanongin ng mga ganon.
Naku, Kuya Will, may mga iba magsasabi na dapat ganon yung proseso. Dapat isipin mo na muna.
For example, kasi...
Wala akong sabihin. Alam mo, gumawa ka naman na mabuti at masama, may sasabihin sila sa'yo. Lahat naman binabash eh. Tingnan mo sa lahat ng tobacco, lahat binash. Lalo na ako.
But for example kasi, on your point about health, we had si Congressman Wilbert Lee on the show, di ba? Ang sinasabi niya, his advocacy is to increase membership coverage ng PhilHealth. Pero hindi niya magawa-gawa because yun nga, you're up against a huge House of Representatives, right?
Kailangan, may politika rin sa loob.
Maraming politika
sa
loob.
And to talk straight to the President. Kasi it's only the President who can decide. Kasi siyempre, presidente ito eh. Mr. President, alam niyo ba, talagang mabigat ang problema? It's talaga mahirap maging presidente dahil lahat problema mo.
Yun nga lang, kayo po ay nalilink sa former President Rodrigo Duterte. Lalo na tinaas niyo po yung kamay ninyo.
Paki-check mo yung nalilink ha.
Noong January 2024, tinaas
Anong nalilink kami?
Doon sa Maisog Rally, parang sinabi niyo rin na handa na kayong tumakbo.
Hindi ko sinabi yun.
Noong January 2024.
Hindi, handa na ako magpasaya at tumulong.
Pero in-endorse po kayo.
May
in-endorse po kayo ni President.
Tinaas yung kamay nyo. Tinaas yung kamay nyo.
Ibig mo sabihin, baka masakit lang naman yung aming mga kamay.
Will naman eh.
Boto nyo to.
Pero kayo po yung nandun sa Maisog Rally na very political. Kasama nyo po yung former President. You're very close to, are you very close to them? Gaano kalalim po yung...
Hindi naman. Kasi pinatawag niya ako. Gusto niya ako tumakbo senador before. Hindi pa ako handa. Yun lang.
Yun nga yung next question ko sa iyo actually.
He was encouraging you to run in 2022,
Pero ito
diba?
so 5 p.m. kayo na gano'n, magna 9 o'clock pa lang. I know it's only been 4 hours since nag-file kayo, Kuya Will. Pero may mga lumapit na ba, nag-text sa'yo or sa mga tao ninyo na gustong makipag-alyansa, makipag-coalition? Wala pa.
Wala pa naman.
Pero willing ka?
Kung makakabuti sa lahat eh. Wala akong bitterness, wala akong hatred sa bawat ano.
So
I
your
can go
doors
with the
are always
president, I
open?
can go with the PDP. Kung sino kasama, kaya nga independent ako. Alam mo, kung mamimili ako ng tao, bakit ako tatakbo pa kung may pipiliin akong kulay? Nakita mo itong suot ko puti? Walang bahid ng dumi? Walang kulay na iba?
Ikaw po ba nagsabi kay former President Duterte that you're running for
I
Senate?
talked to Senator Bongo, pagpaalam mo ako. I talked to the Vice President na sabi ko, I'm running.
Kanina lang po yun, yung conversations niyo.
Kahapon.
Ano po sabi nila?
Makakarating. Yun lang, pakisabi na lang. Kasi siyempre wala naman akong way makipag-usap kay Presidente Duterte.
Wala bang advice binigay
sa
inyo?
Alam mo, I'll tell you this. Maano akong tao maayos akong tao, marespeto ako. Kinausap ko lahat. The Vice President, Senator Bongo, Senator Rapi Tulfo, Erwin Tulfo, Senator Tito Soto. I've talked to them. Even Honey Rose Mercado from Malacanang. Giving courtesy na ito yung bala ko, baka tumakbo ko, ano ba sa tingin nyo? I'm asking advices, no? So, okay naman sila lahat, positive. And the most important thing is si MVP. Kasi I have a contact with TV5. No? Sinabi niya, sige, mag-usap kayo ni Jane, ni Ma'am Jane, saka ni Ma'am Shena, mag-usapan natin, and let's meet kung ano plano mo.
So if possible, will you be keeping your show in TV5?
Yes, kasi
Sabayin.
tinanong ko na kay Chairman Garcia kanina, yes, hanggang February 10, you can still do your show. February 11, hindi na pwede. Kasi campaign time na yan.
Yes. Wala pong bilin sa iyo si VP Sara?
Sabi lang niya, good luck. Kung ano yung matutulong ko sa'yo, sabihin mo lang. Siyempre, di na ako salamat to, Vice. Basta nagbibigay lang ako ng kortesiya. Even with Hannah Rose Mercado from Malacanang. Sinabi ko, pakisabi kay First Lady, kay mahal na Pangulo na I'm running, hindi ako kalaban, kasama ako, gusto ko magpasaya. In fact, nasabi ko pa sa kanya, you can use my show, I can go around the world para sa OFWs.
Yeah.
You know, papasaya natin, yung parang dating First Lady Imelda Marcos, yung balik saya. Ako more of gusto ko yung makakapagpasaya sa mga Pilipino.
Paano niyo po ipagsasabay yun? Yung bilang, kung kayo po ay nanalo bilang senador, yung show nyo, will you still do that every day? Kasabay?
Na, di ba, sa Senate, what
niyo?
I heard is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yes.
Di ba? So, misa baka may Thursday.
session days.
Meron akong Thursday, Friday, Saturday na sa show. Like Senator Soto. Di ba may itbulaga pa rin siya?
Magbabasa po kayo ng
So may
bills.
mga araw na wala kayo?
Alam mo, yung bills na yan,
The bills are hundreds
ang
of
dami ng
pages
batas na
long.
ginawa eh. Nabago ba yung buhay na mahihirap?
Pero yun po ang trabaho ng isang senador mas legislative
Para
talaga.
saan? Para sa bansa? Ang dami ng batas na ginawa. Ano ba ang trabaho natin? Di ba dapat gumawa ng mabuti sa kapwa? Kaya ka nga public servant eh.
But yeah, that's Senate's main role. Legislative chamber siya.
But
So it's your job
gagawin ko?
to...
Kaya gagawa ka ng batas para sa mahirap. Kasi ang dami ng batas. Ilang batas naman nagawa from the start ng mga senador. May nagagawa ba? Ano bang batas yan? Ang pinaka gusto kong batas na gawa, marami naman siguro. Ito nga sa senior. Kasi malaking bagay yan. Yan.
There's been a lot of laws enacted, but I want to come back for a second to the politics of it.
Tagalog,
bakit
please.
po kayo hindi... Sorry,
Politika
medyo
muna tayo.
medyo barak ako eh. Bakit
Para
po kayo...
maintindihan tayo ng mga Pilipino, lalong-lalo na ako,
Bakit po kayo
Huwag mo na akong pinupo,
hindi
huli lang po sa akin.
tumakbo under PDP laban?
Hindi naman nila ako in-offeran eh. Wala nag-offer sa akin. So, si Manong Chavit is independent. I've talked to Ben Tulfo, so independent siya. Sabi ko, ang kasama ko dito, yung nagmamahal sa programa ko. Yung programa ko is about almost 17,300,000 followers sa Facebook. 8 million sa YouTube. Siguro naman ay sapat-sapat na yun na tutulong sa akin. Para sa kanila naman itong gagawin ko, hindi naman para sa akin. Alam mo, masaya na ako sa buhay ko. I'm so blessed. Mas mabibless siguro ako pag itong blessing na meron ako, i-share ko na lang. Okay na ako, kontento na ako, what I have. Hindi na ako naghahangad na ano pa. Ang hinahangad ko na lang, makita ko yung mga kababayan ko na lahat masaya.
Yun nga kasi yung kinagulat ng lahat eh. Akala talaga ng mga tao, happy ka na, di ba? Kumbaga pang ilang renaissance na ito ni Willie Revillame. And then, biglang tumakbo ka for Senate. So, medyo nakakagulat. Are you, I guess, para sa amin, no, yung tanong namin talaga, bakit
Question, ba't ka nagugulat? Ano yung kakagulat? Nakakagulat ba yung gagawa ka ng kabutihan?
Hindi naman. Na talagang you did it.
Sabihin,
Kasi pagkakaalam ko, no, nakakapagdala ka na rin ng kasiyahan, like you said, through your show.
Yeah,
diba? Nasa private.
As what I told you, it's only 600 people. Every day ang nanonood. Ilan lang nabibigyan ko jacket? 100. Ilan nabibigyan ko pamasahe? Ilan lang nananalo? Pero kay ko yung nakaupo at may batas ka, you have a big budget para sa mga kabayan. Matutulungan mo yung buong Pilipinas eh.
Yun nga lang, pag senador ka, ang budget, alam ko, sa AX galing, tapos sa DSWD, kumbaga hindi hawak ng Office of the Senator. Yung,
kasi may several agencies yan. Alam mo, isa pang problema natin, yung mga teachers na bumabiyahe ng ilog, yung kanilang mga eskwelahan na nakikita mo, paulit-ulit na lang yan ganyan. Pag may bagyo, tanggal ang bubong, tanggal ang ano. Bakit hindi tayo gumawa ng matibay na mga eskwela?
So ano po ang solusyon doon? Kami bilang senador, ano po yung
hindi pa nga ako senador eh.
Na bill? Hindi ko sakaling kayo po, Manelo.
Ayun ang pag-uusapan. Huwag niyo ba ako madaliin? Sandali, kapapile ko lang eh. Huwag niyo ako madaliin sa buhay naman
okay, so pag-iikot niyo na lang po sa mga calamity area. Kasi nabanggit niyo yan eh. Kanina.
Alam mo, during that time of Senator Villar was running for the president, kasama niya ako eh. Nakita ko na lahat yan. Tinitin ko yung mga itsura ng mga kawawang kaman. Chinelas lang wala eh. Kaya we're all blessed na meron tayong ganito. So yung mga yung mukha nun, di ba? Yung chinelas wala, may makakain pa ba? Pag binigyan mo nga ng pagkain, sobrang, di ba? Poverty is the problem. Poverty.
I think all the lawmakers right now, they know that. Pero yun nga, like we said, mahirap magpasa ng bill.
They know that, but ginagawa ba nila?
Mahirap mag-allocate ng budget, for example.
Kasi limitado ang resources na meron ng gobyerno, yung pera. Kumbaga, matutulungan mo, pero ganito lang ang meron
O di
mo.
dapat yun ang solusyon. Bakit limitado? Bakit? Anong paraan? Kung lagi na lang ba tayong limitadong resources, kulang ang budget, bakit ganun?
Hindi ba pwede rin kayo tumulong sa pagnenegosyo? Sa, yun nga, yung trabaho po ninyo bilang isang host, kumbaga hindi lang po yung pagiging senador, kasi napaka-specific yun to filing bills. Kumbaga parang malawak din. Pag nagnegosyo ka, marami ka mabibigyan trabaho, solusyon din yun
Gagawin mo din naman yun, siyempre. Sa tutulong ka, hindi lang naman. I'm sure lahat naman ng senators, congressmen, they're doing that sa sarili nila.
Pero handa na po ba kayo sa buhay ng isang politiko? Dahil iba rin ang hamon, ano? Siyempre, maraming pupunahin sa inyo.
Ngayon lang, pinupunan na ako.
Hindi lang po yung, kumbaga, parang ito na, mas mataas na yung expectation sa inyo ng taong bayan dahil we will hold you to account because you are in public office, kumbaga. Pag hindi nyo po nagawa ito at yan.
And you know what?
At madawit
basta
sa mga
malinis ang
kontrobersiya.
konsensya mo, wala kang problema. Basta tama ang ginagawa mo. At nakakatulog ka na mahimbing. Yun lang yun. Ngayon, kung magnanakaw ka at may ginagawa ka, hindi ka na makakatulog na mahimbing. Di ba? Ewan ko kung ako, natutulog ako na mahimbing kasi wala akong problema. Wala akong nasasagasang tao.
And as early as now, may team ka na bang minamata? Or nakapag-form ka na ba? Or talagang yung papeles mo
Sabi mo
na?
nga, 4 hours pa lang ako. Pwede ba? Pwede bang bigyan mo naman ako ng konting panahon?
Siyempre, kasi
Bukas
hindi ka
gagawin ko
panahon
na.
na.
Yung iba kasi, by the time they decide, meron ng teams,
Meron
meron ng strategy,
na.
meron
Kaya
ng
ang
playground.
problema doon, pinlano na talaga nila.
Correct.
O ngayon ako, iniisip ko muna ano dapat kong gawin.
So you said,
Pag-aaralan ko muna.
okay, so you said, kanina ka lang po nag-decide, pero it's been reported na matagal na you're considering. So, what was holding you back? Ano yung hesitation?
Hindi pa ako ready. Emotionally, spiritually, lahat eh. Yung emotion ko, saka maybe physical, I'm 64.
Did you ask for a sign? Nagdasal ka ba? Parang, Lord,
Siyempre, everyone, lahat naman nagdadasal. Hindi na ako sign. Wala yun, di totoo yun. Dapat nasa puso mo. Ang gagawin mo, kunwari, may bumagsak na pusa dito. Ay, ayoko na, may bumagsak na pusa. Hindi ka na matutuloy.
So yung kanina, ano po yung naisip ninyo? Kaya nag-go na kayo?
From the heart. Galing dapat sa puso mo. And then, galing sa puso mo, iisipin ko, handa na ba ako? Gagawin ko na ba to? Ito bang puso ko, malinis ba?
May slogan na ba kayo? Wala pa?
Ako?
Oo. May naisip na kayo?
Will to win. Run to win.
Paano po kayo mga kampanya?
Dadalhin ko yung ano ko.
At saan mga lugar? May
Siyempre,
samahan
buong
ba
Pilipinas.
kayo? Mag-isa lang kayo?
Ako lang. Ako lang Kailangan bang marami pa kami? Saka dapat pa nagsalita ka sa kampanya, hindi na tungkol sa batas. Kung yung magiging solusyon sa mga kababayan natin. I think yun ang importante. Marami ng batas na ginawa. Meron ng batas sa lahat. Ngayon, anong batas ng mga mahihirap para sa kanila?
Marami naman batas para sa mahirap right now. But anyways, tumingin ka po ba sa surveys before you decided?
Kasi hindi ako nag-decide pa. Ito pa lang. Nung huli yata, number 13, number 14. There was a time, number 8, number 7. So, hindi ako na, hindi ako na-attract sa survey.
So, hindi ka po tumingin?
Hindi, kasi hindi pa ako involved. Ngayon, siguro, ito na, nag-file na ako. Pero, I talked to chairman. Sabi ko, pero chairman, what if magbago yung pakiramdam ko, yung decision ko? No, you can just file a withdrawal. Mag-withdraw ka.
So, posible rin yun?
Yeah.
I mean,
it can happen. Kasi kung nararamdaman kong parang hindi ko talaga kaya to, parang marami, yung health ko, kaya pa ba na itong katawan ko? Kasi nagshow pa ako every day. Tomorrow, babalik na ako sa show. 5 to 6:30, that's Monday to Friday. So, depende. Hindi lang naman yung porsigido ka Tingnan mo rin katawan mo, kaya mo pa ba? Kasi pag nagkampanya ka ng senatorial, buong Pilipinas
so marami pang moving parts ito. Marami pang pwede magyari.
Actually, kaya ko lang din ginawa ito. Sinubukan ko na lang din. Titingnan ko rin. Nasa mga tao naman to kung gusto nila ako. Kung wala ka sa ratings, ba't pa ako, di ba? Ibig sabihin, hindi nila ako gusto dito sa posisyon na to. Baka doon lang ako sa show gusto.
So is it parang you're testing the water din?
No naman. Hindi naman. Feel ko to Ayoko naman mag-test the waters na. Yung naramdaman ko, Kasi gusto ko talaga lang makatulong. Wala na akong ibang gustong gawin, kundi makatulong sa mga kababayan natin.
Where do you stand on divorce? Para lang makilala ka ng mga...
Hindi na masyadong malaliman muna yung mga kasabi. Yung mga divorce, kasi ako annulled eh. Na-annulled ako twice eh.
Correct. So where do you stand on it? Kasi right now, na-stuck
yan
pa rin
ngayon
sa Congress yung bill. So if you were to become a senator, which way would you vote?
Well, ako, for me, kung ano yung makakabuti sa mag-asawa.
There's pros.
Kung ano yung makakabuti. Kasi ako, annulled ako eh. Twice ako married, twice ako annulled. Wala akong naging problema, maayos naman.
Pero annulment po is for people who can afford it, who have the money to go through the annulment process. Yun nga, when it comes time to vote, yes or no, divorce, ikaw po, saan ka?
Pwede ba, sagutin ko na pag nandun na? Kasi, di ba, magdidebate pa kami. So, hindi ko pa alam yung mga, di ba?
Handa na po kayong makipagdebate. Kanina, pinapakinggan ko rin, sabi ninyo, ayaw nyo makipagdebate, pakikiusapan nyo na lang, imbis na makipag-away. Pero, kasi parte yun ng demokrasya, na kumbaga, pakinggan mo yung side ng iba, kasi galing sila sa ibang perspektibo, tapos kayo rin, kung ano yung pinaniniwalaan ninyo. Handa na kayo makipag-debate
Basta ako,
sa ganong...
majority ako kung ano yung kakabuti para sa lahat. Hindi ako makikipag-away para lang ma-prove ko yung gusto ko. Kung mali naman. And also, wrap up na.
Nagiging ano na rin siya, producer ulit.
Hindi, okay lang. Kasi nagmamadali. Akala ko may kape kayo, tubig lang pala.
Hindi, wag po kayo
Kasi late na, baka hindi tayo mahirap na hindi makatulog sa gabi.
Hindi, ako lang. But I just like to congratulate, of course, TV5, Mr. Patrick Paes, di ba? Saka si Joby, no? Ang galing nyo. Kasi nandito kayong tatlo. Maraming mga programang news eh. Maraming importante nga, malaman to ng tao, lalong-lalo na yung mga paano ma-educate yung mga...
Okay, sa ilang buwan po na nandito kayo, kamusta po yung experience nyo bilang kapatid?
Alam mo, wala ka pa dito, nandito na ako.
Nandito na yan.
Hello? Ako pa tinanong mo.
Oo nga pala, no?
Di ba sinabi ko nga sa'yo, naglaro nga kami ng games.
Sa mga nakaraang...
Eto, sasabihin ko sa'yo. Sobrang mahal ako dito. Sobrang mahal ako ni Ma'am Shena, Ma'am Jane, MVP. Yun lang. Ang babait ng tao rito. So, hindi ka na... Etong gagawin ko na to, hindi naman para sa akin. Di ba? Saka pwede ba huwag niyo akong pinopo? Yung huli na po sa akin, muntik na kami magpakasal. Okay? O yan.
Uy, annulled ka na po 2 times. Twice.
Huwag nating dagdagan kasi ang strike 3.
Huling katanungan, anong mangyayari sa show ninyo? During campaign period, titigil ba? Magpapatuloy?
Tutuloy lang yan.
Meron kayong i-recommend?
Yes, pinag-aaralan ko na lahat. Basta alam naman nila, that show is for the people. Show ng programa ng Pilipino yan. Ginawa, tingnan nyo, pinotis, sandali lang, 1 minute na lang. Okay? Ginawa yung programa yan, concept ko, para sa mga tao. Walang artista. Nakita mo, very intimate. Nayayakap mo yung mahihirap. Didinig mo yung binubulong nila. Yun ang sinasabi ko, kaya ako nagsenador. Kasi itong binubulong na mahihirap sa akin araw-araw. Sabi ko, dapat ito mapansin. Diba? So, ito yun. Yung inaakap ka, Willie, wala akong pambiling gamot. Willie, anak ko, walang pang-paaral. Wala kami sapatos, mag-graduate. Small things na to, di ba? Di ba? It breaks your heart, di ba? It breaks your heart, di ba? So, ang point dito, ano ba magagawa mo? Ano mo lahat ng mga batas na yan kung di mo naman natutulungan yung kapwa Pilipino mo?
Sino maaaring pumalit sa inyo sa show ninyo? Pwede ba kaming makaano ng konting pangalan?
Sino mo kayong tatlo? Will to win.
Sino po? Kung kayo magkakaroon ng pagkakataon na humiling?
Hanapin pa yun.
Wala pa.
Siyempre, ang dami niyong
tanong. 4 na oras pa lang nga eh.
Kasi,
kaya nga ako guest dito. Kasi
marami kaming tanong para sa inyo.
Sige.
Maraming salamat sa inyo.
Naman kasi.
Walang love life.
Pag ikaw po ay na-elect, nako, mas marami pa pong tanong yan.
Basta ako pag na-elect ako, hindi ako nanalo.
Pero may nakita ako parang nililink kayo sa isang...
Sa'yo ako na-link.
Hindi ako. Matagal nyo ng kalaguyo.
Ikaw ba't ganyan ka? Yun ang dinideny mo.
Hindi, kasi nga,
maraming salamat. Sir, hindi po tayo, romantic comedy. News show po. News show. Let's leave it for after the camera.
Maraming salamat
sa inyo. Sino nagiging sa akin?
Nakalimutan ko na yung pangalan.
Sinusundan mo karir ko, ha?
Lumalabas na yung sa feed ko eh.
Sino yun?
Ganun yung sa algorithm ngayon.
Okay.
Pag-usapan na natin, talagang naubusan na tayo ng oras. Maraming salamat, Kuya Will, sa oras mo. At sana tawagan ka namin.
Pag ko kayo sa Will to Win, hindi ko kayo mamadaliin.
Ay, because meron ko 1 hour.
Teka lang, kumanta na ako dati. Sa dati mga show. Nanalo pa kami sa mga tulfo.
Okay, tamo, nanalo pa sila. Anyway, ito naman masaya lang ako. Ako nagbibiro lang. Pero, nandito ako para malaman nyo, Kung ako kay papalarin, di ba? Ganun lang naman yan, hindi ako nanalo.
Kung okay lang sa'yo, Kuya Will, tawagan ka namin ulit pagka medyo, hindi lang 4 hours after fighting para pagka nakulit mo na yung thoughts.
Nandiyan lang naman ako.
Kung napag-isipan nyo na yung mga bills na tinatanong.
Wala pa nga ako doon, bills ka na ng
kaya
bills.
nga,
Maraming salamat. Tapusan talaga tayo ng Oras TV host.
Wala pang
and
platform.
Now, senatorial aspirant Willie Revillame.
Okay.
Maraming salamat sa oras mo tonight, Kuya Will. But that's it for the big story tonight.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.
Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.